Hello friends, so come along today as we sample this leaf by Oscar Valladeres. This is the corojo. It's going to be really delicious, I already know ahead of time. Come with me today and let's get into this one. Hello friends, so I don't know if anybody has ever tried the leaf by Oscar Valladeres, but it is amazing. This particular cigar, in its wrapper, as you can see, it's wrapped by a separate leaf, comes in 4 types. We have the corojo, which I'm doing today. We have the Sumatra, which is generally a favorite, and then we have the Maduro and the Connecticut. All 4 of them really offer some beautiful flavors, and their profiles to me are basic. They don't have a long list of, oh, you're gonna get this, and then that. It's just very straightforward. If you like it, you're gonna love it. That's just the way it is. So this particular corojo, I've been interested in trying because Sumatrans are my favorite, corojos are my second favorite wrapper. And I have been meaning to try this for a while, and overall, it's always been a good stick when I have the Sumatra. I love the Sumatra so much, I've never even had the Maduro and the Connecticut, even though they themselves come with their own particular accolades. So this one is a corojo wrapper, and the binder and filler are Honduran. On the Sumatran, it is a Sumatran wrapper and a Honduran binder filler, and then on both the Connecticut and Maduro, they're puros. They're all Honduran. So if you like a particular leaf, if you really like Honduran, you probably need to try that Maduro and Connecticut. So let's get into this. I'm about to be unloaded. I'm hauling powdered paint today, which is what they use for the yellow and white lines on the road. We haul this stuff pretty frequently. I'm going to say I probably haul it at least once a week on average, sometimes twice a week, depending on who needs what and where. We haul it all over. I am in Nashville again today with this particular load. So let's start out. So we do need to take off the one. I love these little wrappers because they're very organic. They're just a basic, like, stamped. I don't know if it is a leaf or what. This thing. I mean, look at that. It almost looks like paper. Kind of cool. So the wrapper is the actual wrapper. Instead of being cellophane, the wrapper is a leaf, which in itself I think is very, very rustic and as it should be. It really holds flavors in. I'm just going to open it up. Aha. There's our actual cigar. Beautiful, huh? I'm going to go ahead and cut the tip. So on the first, just inhaling, not even the dry draw yet, just that first sniff of appreciation to this cigar. It's woodsy, it's a little nutty, and I have a feeling that that's what's going to be coming through. But I figure too, being a corojo, that when we get through this probably at least into halfway, we're going to get some of that sweet spice coming through, so we're going to find out. Love it. Hopefully this window being open is not too loud for you with the truck running. Some cigars, you light them, and their first couple draws that you take on them, as I've said before, are not inspiring. They don't really do anything for you. This one is not far from that. It's nice, it's pleasant, it doesn't knock you off your feet. But, especially on the roof rub, you're starting to, the sweet spice is already coming through. Maybe some red pepper. I'm almost thinking bell pepper. Oddly enough, not just red pepper, but bell pepper. original draw, I get a bit of woodsiness, and that's probably where it seems calm and friendly. Then on the retrohale, I get some of the nuttiness, really nice, and again, that sweet spice on the roof rub. Really good so far. We're off to a good start. Okay, so I had to move up a little bit so they could unload me a little easier. While doing that, I'm really enjoying this. It is not a punch in the face. So far, the earthiness is what is the biggest tone here. I do get what I would call soil. I think people probably go like, ooh, it tastes like dirt. No, it's not that. It's just that earthy flavor that I really like. And on the retrohale, I'm getting a lot of that nuttiness. I really am. That's staying with me. The retrohale not only has a baseline of nuttiness, but the warm pepper, and I'm going to say bell pepper, almost vegetable style. You guys might be listening to this going, vegetables and dirt. Great. Sign me up for that one. But it's really good. I mean it with the best intention possible. It's really nice. The roof rub, that sweet spice, that's where the corojo wrapper is really shining through on this right now. I'm expecting that as we get into the middle and in the final third of this, it will change a little bit. So that'll be interesting to see. Does it stay consistent? So as you can see, I'm already having to relight it. Now, part of that is I was talking to the guy and didn't get to take a couple puffs. Generally, a good rule of thumb for how often to take a draw is about every 20 seconds. I didn't get to do that. But also, it's really, as you can see, this wrapper is just beautiful. And it's nice and tightly packed. Look at that ash. Looks like we have a stem or something that was in there. So you have that little bit of a hole. It's not so tight that the draw on it is tight. It's a really well compacted cigar. Oh, and by the way, sneak peek. I don't know if I'm going to do it on a review, but do you guys remember when I did the 3-way review of the Uncomfortably Numb line, volume 1, 2, and 3? For those of you that liked that, Espinosa has now come out with a volume 4. Check it out. Comfortably Numb. I always say uncomfortably numb. Comfortably Numb, volume 4. So it's more of a lime green kind of wrapper. Lime green and orange. I can't wait to try this. Now I will say that the boys at Cigars International, when I asked them what they thought of it, they all said we like number 1 the best. And I was like, yes, me too. And they didn't say anything negative about it. They just said we like number 1 the best. And the other guy said he liked number 3 next, but he hadn't had number 2. So I told him, I said, well, go try number 2 because to me, like that review, it was in order of 1, 2, and 3. So very excited about that. Volume 4, Comfortably Numb by Espinosa. If I really like it, I'll do a review. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do a review on it, if that's of interest to you. Otherwise, just know that there is now a volume 4. Just dropped my ash. Today might not be my day, guys. On the way here, I was thinking that I had to go on 40, but the exit that I needed was actually right before. Nashville's a little weird with their exits. If you're not paying attention, it'll just pass you by, which I guess is a lot of it, but particularly here in Nashville. So I missed my exit and had to turn around. It worked out just fine. Brought me back to the same road I needed. It was all good. But that's not usually like me. I usually have my trip planned out really well, and I had not looked at the exit number or anything like that because I thought it was staying with 40. So, and now I've dropped my ash and had to blow it out. going to be an interesting day. So I don't normally work on Fridays, and here it is a Friday, and I'm working, but I didn't get to work for Labor Day, so throwing in an extra day this week, and it's good. I've been doing this load to Nashville with powder paint, and then I'm going over to Lenore City, which is right below Knoxville, to pick up, I believe, concrete drainage pipes, but I won't deliver that until Monday. There's a little bit of tid for you. So this particular cigar, the Corojo, was kind of a collaboration between Oscar Valladeres and Island Jim. Feel free to look him up. Sounds like a character. And, it does have a little, to me, and this might be a far reach for some of you guys. On the roof rub, I get just a little edge of citrus. If you've had this cigar, or you're trying it now, let me know if you pick that up too. As I'm getting a little toward the middle, I'm still in the first third, but getting toward the middle, there's just that little hint. It's not overpowering, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's one of the major flavor profiles, but it's like this, I don't know, what do you call it? A hint of citrus. This week, originally, I was going to be putting out an update on our house. That video should come out next week, if I stay on track. So, as a nutshell, our house now is fully framed. It has all the roof trusses on it, and the OSB roofing, as I call it, is going on today, finishing going on today. Monday, they will be putting the shingles on, and that's where I kind of wanted to do an update on the build. Preferably, it probably would have been best to wait for the windows to go in, so it would be fully in the dry, but if at least we have the roof on, that I think that'll be a good stopping place. We've gotten a lot done to it, so that video should be a fairly decent video. You will notice also in those videos, you're not going to see me a whole lot. Not that you want to, but I try to introduce it, and I try to make a couple comments along the way, but most of it is just, here's how the build's going. So I hope you guys find that interesting if you're choosing to watch our home build video updates. One of my favorite and bestest subscribers, John, gave me the idea to talk about cigar lounge etiquette. In the last review that I had done, I asked for ideas on what might be interesting to talk about aside from the cigar itself, or any questions that you might have, and that was the one that came up the most. Cigar lounge etiquette. So when we think of going into a lounge, if you're new, first of all, be polite and respectful. It's, if you have younger, like college-age kids going in, you know how they can act sometimes. Just be calm, be gentlemanly. This is a gentlemanly thing to do. So have some respect, which I'm going to say that pretty much all the majority of you guys do. The other thing is, don't feel scared or intimidated to ask questions. The people that work there love talking about cigars, and it's very rare that you go into a cigar lounge where someone is off-putting or not friendly. I would absolutely encourage you to ask questions. If you're wanting to try something new, let them know what your flavor profile is if you know it. Get them to share their favorites. Or if you are a very seasoned smoker, I will go in sometimes and just say, hey, what's new? What do you recommend? I like a lot of things. I'll tell them a little bit about my flavor profile, and then I'll just let them guide me because I want to try something new. Another thing is, when you are looking at the cigars, most of them are in cellophane wrappers these days, but you don't want to pick every cigar up that you're looking at. Look at it in the box. If there's a description on the box, read it, that's fine. If you do pick it up, do not put it up to your mouth, your nose. Don't do that. You just have to trust that it's going to be good. One of my favorite ways to weed out which cigars I want is the wrapper. I love the wrappers. I just think they're beautiful. A lot of times they have been hand painted in its original form, so it's really artwork. And I just love them. And if it's got a cool wrapper, I'm probably going to try it. I'll be inclined to try it. But likewise, if it's got a very classy, very traditional wrapper, I might be pulled there with that too. So for me, that's one of my things. One thing that I do, and you have to be careful doing it, but we have a couple nice walk-in humidors at some liquor stores that we have, and sometimes their humidity is not as high as it should be. It's a little low. So one thing that I do is I pick up the cigars and I just gently squeeze and roll. And each cigar should have just a little give. If you squeeze it and it feels dry, hard, hopefully not too brittle, or else you're going to crack the leaf, and you don't want to do that. If somebody else decides to buy it, you don't want to ruin their experience. But it should have a little bit of a give. So if you go into a place that is not a full-on tobacconist, just check them, but do it lightly. Getting into the final third, and the flavor profile is interesting because it's very consistent. It just changes. It shifts how it comes in to your senses a little bit. On the draw, I get the nuttiness. On the retrohale, it's all the sweet spice, and some of that citrus is coming back on the retrohale. Originally, that citrus was on that roof rub, but now it's in the nose. And the earthiness is all roof rub. I mean, it's nice. There's no bitterness to it. It's just calm and delicious. Still smoking beautifully. This little wrapper, you can smoke through it. It's paper. I mean, it is what it is. It might change the flavor a little bit, kind of dumb it down if you think. But I'm going to go ahead and take it off. On second thought, no, I'm not. I'm going to smoke through this wrapper and let you know how it changes the flavor. Speaking of wrappers that you can smoke through, there's two others that come to mind. CAO, as you know, is one of my favorite companies as a whole. They have what they call the Basin, and it is a cigar that you don't see that much. Absolutely one of my favorite cigars. It's beautifully constructed. It's got a very cool story. They literally make they grow the tobacco in the Amazon, and they have to go down this little river in a boat to go collect it. Like, it's way remote from most people. And they put out, I don't know how many boxes. I'd have to do some research on that. But when it comes out each year, they usually do like one new blend each year. And they're always delicious, and you must grab one. I always try to grab at least 3 or 4 when I see them. But they have a tobacco leaf that they roll, and they wrap it around the top part. And that's one way you can tell a CAO Amazon Basin cigar. It's beautiful. You can definitely smoke through that. Cavalier also makes one. They put a gold, it looks like a diamond. It's a square, but they turn sideways. And it's gold leaf, and you can smoke through that. So there's 3 cigars that you can technically smoke through the band. So as you can see, I think the band is starting to burn along with the cigar. And as of right now, it has really not changed the flavor all that much. You can tell there's a flatness maybe to the flavor, but it hasn't changed the flavor. It's good. Got encourage all of you, if you have a question or you want me to talk about something specific, please let me know in the comments below.